Actually, I want to start at the top discussing Bernie Sanders leading in a new Fox News poll that just came out late this afternoon. It is the first time that Bernie Sanders has led in a national poll. And this is just one of many polls. And I'm going to share the data from Real Clear Politics. I'm going to share it on your screen, and you can see the convergence of the polling data starting far back as let's see, they started in, it looks like August. I'll share it on your screen now. Those of you who are listening via Spreaker, I'll just describe it to you. But you can see for the Fox News poll, Bernie Sanders is up 3 points ahead of Hillary Clinton. 47 points for Bernie Sanders, 44 points for Hillary Clinton. That is, of course, within the margin of error, but it speaks to a larger trend of Bernie Sanders closing that national gap. And this entire narrative of Sanders not being electable, in a sense, goes out the window because he is closing within the margin of error on all of the averages of the poll. Now, Hillary Clinton is still leading the poll on the CBS. She's up 8 points on the CBS poll. She's still up 10 points on the USA Today Suffolk poll, and she's only up by 2 points on the Quinnipiac poll. The average of all those polls has Hillary Clinton up by 4.3 points, which is just outside the margin of error. The most important thing that we should take away from this is the trend from September, where Hillary Clinton had a 24-point lead. We see the trend over time, closing, and now they are within 4 points of each other. This is this is bad news for the Hillary Clinton camp. Because in a sense, it is as much as they try to make this not 2008 over again, this is very much just like 2008, except for instead of a young black man, you have an old white man. And that's one of the narratives that Hillary Clinton is really pushing as she loses her grip in Nevada. She's really pushing this race narrative, which we'll talk about later. But I just want to harp on the fact that these polls really, at this point, Las Vegas really looks like a toss-up. It is anyone's game in Las Vegas. And nationally, Bernie Sanders is actually performing better in heads-up competitions against every Republican candidate, whereas Hillary Clinton is losing. I believe she's losing against every one of them. I'm pulling up that data now, but it just goes against this narrative that they've tried to push for a very long time, that Bernie Sanders is not electable, when in actuality, he is more electable than Hillary Clinton based on the actual data. And then at some point, this entire notion of polling is thrown out the window when it becomes inconvenient for the people that the polling is showing negative results for. I guess I don't. No, I do understand. I was going to say I don't understand. I do understand the game. You only quote the data when it's good for you. You ignore the data and discredit the polls when it's bad for you. But the reality of it is, this is the second time around for Hillary Clinton. And we see that the strategy of maligning the character of people, this rolling in the dirt that Hillary Clinton's team likes to do. She hasn't done it. She hasn't done it herself on every occasion, but I've seen her do it on one occasion where she really engaged in some heavy-handed propaganda herself. But for the most part, it is her team. Her team will throw propaganda out there as if it was nothing. And the problem is that America already has trust issues with Hillary Clinton. I mean, that's one of the prevailing trends about her entire political career, is that people have a hard time trusting her. And the problem is that I don't think that is registering for her team. They are engaging in tactics that makes it even more, that makes it easier for you not to trust her. And the thing is that the more she doubles down on this type of strategy, the more it backfires. And I think that's where we can see some of the credit to some of the polling. I'm searching desperately here to find this polling data, but it was sent. I forgot what time it was sent to me, but I don't have it. But it basically shows that that Bernie Sanders outperforms each of the Republican candidates, including Marco Rubio, who originally he was losing to as they were polling over the summer. And I guess I could just go right back to Real Clear Politics. And instead of getting it spoon fed to me, I can do heads up matches and bring that to you before the end of the night. But actually, here it is. I have Sanders versus Bush. And for Sanders versus Bush, it has Sanders up the spread, the average. Sanders is up by 8.7 points against Bush. That's just Bush. In a heads-up match against Sanders versus Rubio. He was losing earlier in the summer, and now it has them in a tie. So Sanders is up according to the 6 points by the Quinnipiac poll, but the average, Real Clear average, shows them in a tie. And if we want to compare apples to apples, let's take a Hillary Clinton versus a Marco Rubio, and you'll see that Hillary Clinton loses to Marco Rubio by 4.7 points in the average of the polls. So this entire narrative, we can go one by one, name them, we can keep going. This entire narrative of Bernie Sanders not being electable is counter to the evidence. And that's one of the most frustrating things. Let's take a look at Trump, because Trump is still the prohibitive front runner, apparently, surprisingly enough. The Real Clear average, finally, Hillary Clinton was losing for a while, but Hillary Clinton is up against Donald Trump by only 2.8 points. USA Today and Suffolk poll, they have Trump winning by 2 points. So they're within the margin of error. But if we take a look at Sanders versus Trump, excuse me, Sanders beats Donald Trump in the average of polls by 7.8 points. Well outside the margin of error. Hillary Clinton beats Trump by 2.8 points. Bernie Sanders beats Trump by 7.8 points. Can we finally dispel with the notion that people who are promoting this idea that Bernie Sanders is not electable are actually telling the truth, or that they are being unbiased journalists? They are peddling a false narrative that is contrary to the data. And the question is, how long are we going to just allow them to misrepresent the data as a statement of fact, when the facts are Bernie Sanders performs better in heads-up competitions against every single candidate, better than Hillary Clinton? And there was one that I didn't point out. I do want to do, actually, I think I did. Let's go back to Clinton versus Rubio. Clinton versus Rubio has Rubio winning by 4.7 points. I didn't point this one out. The average of polls, every single poll, if Marco Rubio becomes the nominee, and I'm telling you something, I said that this summer. I've gotten squeamish on that prediction because of his glitch and his malfunction in his matrix. Marco Rubio, Chris Christie called him out beautifully. I second guessed my prediction, but the establishment has doubled down on Marco Rubio. I've said all that to say, if Marco Rubio becomes the nominee, Hillary Clinton cannot beat him. Not as it stands today. Fox News, Quinnipiac, USA Today, the PPP, even the Democratic poll, the PPP poll done by Democrats, has Hillary losing by 2 points to Marco Rubio. The average spread is 4.7 points. Bernie Sanders is more electable than Hillary Clinton. If it were not so, I would have told you. All right. Moving on, folks. I know there's a thing that the Democrats are doing tonight, but I personally, whatever. I don't need another town hall. I want another debate. But maybe we'll get done early and we'll go watch that together. How about that? All right.